Today, I'm gonna cook the most delicious pulled pork extravaganza, and you can use it in so many different ways. It's gonna be brilliant. First up, I went to the butcher's. This is a half shoulder of pork. It's the hand end. I prefer this part of the shoulder because there's different cuts in there and they're different flavors, and it just falls off the bone so beautifully. We've got 4 carrots, we've got 4 apples, we've got 4 onions, and then we're gonna use a lovely herb. Beautiful sage. It could be rosemary, it could be thyme. And this will become the trivet for this pork. I'm just gonna chop the onions in half once I've peeled them like that. I wanna keep them quite big because this pork shoulder will cook low and slow for a number of hours. They're gonna get caramelized and sweet and delicious. Then the carrots, we'll split them down the middle. Get your apples and just cut them into quarters. Remove that core, and there you go. When I'm roasting this pork, I'm doing it for my family. It makes the most amazing roast dinner. It's fantastic for party food. It's also brilliant if you're living on your own. Honestly, I would still do it. You can freeze it, and for months to come, you've got the depth of flavor and the deliciousness that you can put to a whole bunch of different recipes. And it will save you a load of money as well, because you're stretching a cut of meat a long way. And then we've got sage here, right? So all I'm gonna do is grab the stalk like that, and then twist it, and it's that simple. Let's get the pork ready to roast. For that, I'm just gonna lightly drizzle it with a little olive oil, a couple of tablespoons, the same amount of red wine vinegar. So the vinegar and pork has a very good relationship. Like the fat and the acidity and the flavor is a phenomenal thing. We'll hit it hard with black pepper and lovely sea salt. And we'll rub this all over the pork. And then there's one spice that I want a hero, and that's nutmeg. So grate that nutmeg in. Smells amazing. Just give it a nice rub all over. So once you've got this all rubbed up nicely, we simply just grab the apples and the carrots and the sage and bung it underneath. While this pork cooks, it will be kind of raining all of its gorgeous juices down on that trivet, and the flavor you'll create will be absolutely phenomenal. So give that a nice little mix up, and last but not least, a whole bulb of garlic. Leave it in the skin, no work at all, right? As that roasts, it will go creamy and mild and delicious and perfumed. So that's it, 3 minutes work, and then we're gonna let the oven do the work. So, let me just wash my hands. Now, as far as the oven's concerned, I'm gonna preheat it to 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit. And we'll give it 2 hours, like 2 hours to get this beautiful pork shoulder going. And then after 2 hours, just turn it down to 150 and we'll cook it for 3 hours. That will guarantee you crispy crackling and the most soft, tender, gorgeous, pullable meat. So now I can do whatever I want. 3 minutes work to put it together, and the oven does all the hard work. Brilliant. Hello. Come on, boy. Absolutely outrageous smells of that beautiful pork. It's had 5 hours of love and care, not from me, from the oven. Look at that! Something special, that is. Okay. So let me show you how to take this beautiful piece of pork and create the potential for meals, many meals, for the next month or 2. So look, let's just take that crackling there. Whoa! Now that is a pork scratching. Crispy and delicious. Get yourself 2 forks. Very, very simple. Get in there to the shoulder and just pull this off. So look, the only thing that you have to do is just pull the meat off the bone. I've broken most of it up. Right, now we're gonna chop it up. Look, the dog's turned up. Hello, mate. You know that something's happening. You'll see there is a little bit of fat here. This is not waste. It makes the best roast potatoes. And I'm just gonna squeeze the garlic out of its skins. And what you're left behind with is this amazing garlic puree. Oh, the smell is phenomenal. And then get that meat back into this incredible dripping stream. What we're gonna do is toss the apple and the onion and the carrot and that lovely saginess around this pork. And the flavor will now be off the Richter scale. I haven't tried any yet, I'm holding myself back. And I reckon you could easily feed 15 portions out of that, if not more. So when you talk about, value for money, that's kind of done. Let's have a little wipe down and then flip the board here. Let me just wash my hands. So then we got this, the biggest crackling I've ever seen. Let's just kind of cut it up into chunks. Yeah, people are gonna fight over that. Look at that. Beautiful. Down in my little recipe hut, I've got the perfect sharing dish to kick off our Friday night. I am so excited to give you a recipe for an amazing homemade pie. Beautiful crumbly pastry, chicken, sweet leeks, creamy sauce. This is gonna be amazing. It starts here with a chicken. So a nice free-range chicken. What I wanna do first is cut it in half. Just hold the chicken, get the tip cut down the back, and then down the breast. So in a pan, we'll have just a tiny bit of oil. So chicken goes into the pan. I'm using the whole chicken. You get maximum flavor from the bones and the bone marrow, but also the joy of white meat, brown meat, and the sweet meat is incredible. So we got a second pan on a medium heat, and what I want to do is start frying off a beautiful base to give you the best pie filling ever. For that, I'm going to start with some smoky bacon. Just cut ourselves some little lardons. So into the pan we go, add a little oil, and that is an incredible welcoming party for vegetables and herbs. So we'll start off with thyme, to rip that in, and then base vegetables. 1 heart of celery, 1 onion, 1 carrot, and 1 leek. Roughly sliced into sort of 1.5 centimetre dice. Into the pan. I don't want the veg so small that it's gonna disappear. I wanna have chunks of veggies. So about 10-15 minutes of gentle frying. So that gives us time to clean down and make the pastry. Add 500 grams of plain flour to a bowl, a pinch of sea salt, and 250 grams of very cold butter. So by grating the butter like that, it just makes it so easy to rub into the flour. Pour in 100 millilitres of cold water and bring it together. And kind of hug it. No kneading, just hugging. That's what we want. And I'm gonna just form it into 2 balls. Divide so it's 1/3 for the lid and 2/3 for the base. Wrap them up and flatten out and leave to chill in the fridge until needed. If you look in here now, we have a nice bit of colour. That means we've got mega flavour already. I want to turn this into a beautiful sauce to stew that chicken, right? To pull out all that flavour. I'm going to use scrumpy, beautiful cloudy cider. Just a nice little swig goes in. The smell is phenomenal. And we want to cook all of that cider away. Go in with a heaped teaspoon of English mustard, 2 heaped tablespoons of plain flour, a litre of chicken stock, and bring to a simmer. At this point in the story, we've created that stewing environment, and we're taking that lovely, crispy golden chicken, and those bones are straight down into that sauce. So lid on top, and just let it blip away for around about an hour until the thigh meat pulls off the bone, and that will be incredible. This fat in the pan, by the way, I'm gonna keep that for a little secret later. So the chicken is done. If I just pull the thigh meat, and it should just fall off the bone. That's what we want. Super tender, super delicious, happy days. Oh. So meat into here. I have been slicing up 500 grams of button mushrooms. By putting the mushrooms in at this stage, you get really sweet, nutty mushroom flavour. Stir that through. Okay, so now 2 forks and just pull that tender meat from the bone. At this point, the bones have done their job. They've given you awesome flavour. Carefully remove all the bones, add the chunks of chicken back to the stew, and mix through 2 tablespoons of creme fraiche. So I want this stew to do 2 things. Give me amazing, perfect filling, and then also an incredible sauce. And we can have both by one easy little trick that I love. Get yourself a pan, get yourself a colander, and sieve that filling. The sauce will go through it, and you can reheat that later to pour on top of your pie. Put that to one side, and now we can make our pie. So we'll get our pastry out of the fridge, and we'll roll this out so it's gonna line this beautiful pie dish. What I will do is just give a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the dish and give it a rub. Put your chilled pastry in between a sheet of greaseproof paper and roll it till it's 1/2 centimetre thick. Add to the pie dish, pour in the cooled filling, and roll out your pie lid. I don't care if it cracks. I embrace it. Look, I'm gonna tear it. Oh no, there's a crack. It doesn't matter. We're gonna just tear it up and put it in just like that. And as we take in the sides, we're gonna create just a beautiful rustic pie. So just a little egg wash. So I'm gonna cook that now for about an hour, put it at the bottom of the oven. The temperature will be 190 degrees Celsius, which is 375 Fahrenheit, and that will be a thing of beauty. So that glorious pie is nearly done. And I've just knocked up a bit of mashed potato. You guys know how to do that, but what you might not know how to do is make cabbage beautiful. We're gonna do something quick and delicious and amazing. Roughly slice up the cabbage and add to the chicken fat you saved earlier. Cook over a high heat until softened and lightly charred. Add a splash of water, a teaspoon of mustard, and a pinch of salt and white pepper. These 3 things bring out the most wonderful flavour. Just takes your everyday cabbage to another place. So cabbage is done, our gravy is bubbling away and reheating nicely. And then, yes, that, my friends, is what I wanted. Look at that, bubbling, blipping, look. Just so, so good. The hispy cabbage that is soft and succulent, but it's got the char. Good old mashed potato, always a good friend of a pie. Then we'll get a gravy boat. This poured over the top of your pie will be a joyful thing. Oh, look how flaky that pastry is. I'm very excited. Come on. Look at that, we've got the chunks of chicken, the flaky pastry. That is a slice of heaven. Let's have a dunk mash, some of that amazing cabbage done good, and then gravy. Let's get in there. Hallelujah. You know, using the whole chicken gives you the hyper flavour. Everyone deserves to enjoy a good homemade pie. Guys, what are you waiting for? I want to let you into a little secret that makes a massive difference to my life. Batch cooking, a big old pan of food. Could be a bolognese, a soup, a stew. In this case, I'm going to show you how to make a beautiful veggie casserole, right? With roasted squash, chickpeas, mushrooms, tomatoes. But from that, you can do so many different dishes. Got a butternut squash there. Very carefully, put the tip in the center and then go carefully all the way down and then rotate it carefully all the way down and then take these seeds out. So what I want to do is amplify flavour of veggies all the way through this recipe so you don't just get kind of boiled veg, you get delicious food. So by roasting the squash, we're going to literally double or triple the flavour. I'm only going to put a little bit of olive oil on this squash and salt, and that's it. Now the oven is at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, straight onto the bars, skin side down, and that will start concentrating the flavour there. So I've got 400 grams of your everyday cheap mushrooms. I'm just gonna literally break up these mushrooms and go in dry to the pan. No oil at the moment. It's gonna dehydrate the mushrooms and concentrate their flavour. Let's give this a little stir. You can see the moisture coming out of the mushrooms. So let that crack on for 10 minutes. Okay, let's talk about more veggies. 4 onions, peeled, and 4 peppers. And with the peppers, thumb goes in, right? And then you can split open the pepper like that. take the seeds out, and then I'm going to tear it up chunky. Big chunks, like 2-inch chunks. As I stir it, it's almost squeaking because it's scalding it, it's charring it, so it's giving it a toasty, smoky flavour. So roughly chop the onions, and in they go. Salt and pepper. And we'll let that carry on and scald and steam and intensify for another 10 minutes. And then I'm going to get some chickpeas, some tomatoes, and some tapenade. It's chopped up olives. What I love about this is it's a flavour bomb waiting to happen. So that's a nice little hack and an ingredient that I love to have at home always. And 2 garlic cloves will be enough. Peel this garlic and finely slice. So we go in with 2 tablespoons of olive oil and 2 garlic. Then we can go in with the tapenade. 2 tablespoons straight in there. Deep flavours, seasoning again. I'm going to go in also with 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. And what that will give you is this beautiful kind of sweet and sour veggie base, deep in flavour. And when that's cooked away, then, and only then, we can add the wet stuff, the tinned tomatoes, whole plums. You'll get a sweeter flavour. 2 tins, clean hands. Scrunch it. This is what the nonnas do in Italy, the grandmothers. And then once you've done that, fill these tins up with water. That'll clean the tin out and also gives you the perfect amount of moisture to really make this into a lovely casserole stew. And then the chickpeas. Now you can go for cheap tinned chickpeas and they're nice. But the extraordinary chickpeas are the jarred ones, right? They're more expensive, but they're twice the size. They're twice as delicious and they're creamy and amazing. So look out for these in delis. You can get them online. You can get them in certain supermarkets. So whether using jars or tins of chickpeas, go in with them, juice and all, right? All the juice. That juice is very useful. Beautiful. Bring that to the boil. Let me just wash my hands. So look, as that comes to the boil, you'll see that begin to thicken. So give it a nice stir, tiny little bit of seasoning, not too much, because it's going to reduce down. Hopefully what you've got from this method is that I'm commanding flavour out of veggies at every stage, and I'll finish it in the oven. Let's check in on the squash. Look, we've already got a nice bit of colour there. You might want to use a pair of tongs. I'm going to place that squash on the stew, like that. Just push it down, and then place this back in the oven. So we'll carry on cooking that at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, for like an hour and a half until everything is just gorgeous and cooked through. And then you can stir that squash in big hunks through it. That amazing casserole took less than half an hour to put together to get to that stage. And then you let the oven do all the work. So it smells amazing. It's had an hour and a half. Look at it flipping away. I love it when it does that. Proper hearty food. Get yourself a spoon. Now, the reason that I've roasted the squash on top is so you get maximum roast, which is maximum flavour. Also, the skin on butternut squash is utterly delicious, like candy. Get a spoon in and just break it up into little hunks of squash. Give it a nice little mix up, then have a little taste. You can adjust with a little salt and pepper, and something I like to do is just a little thimble of vinegar, just to bring the flavour out, make it a little bit kind of lighter, more tangy. That is a great dish in its own right. Oh, massive flavour. So there you go. 1 pan squash and chickpea casserole. What are you waiting for? You need to get some of that in your life. What I tend to do is freeze most of it But from this dish, there's so many things you can do. You can rustle up loads of different dishes with flavours from all around the world. Go Italian and simply have it with toast, delicious pesto and buffalo mozzarella. Or serve it Spanish style with chorizo and potatoes. And I love to spice up my chickpea and squash casserole with curry paste to turn it into a gorgeous veggie curry. Look at this.
Or my favourite curry.
Do you prefer veggie curry to meat?
100%.
Pet, sort your dad out. Go on.
This is the best day ever, Dad.
If you love sausage and mash, then this could be a new family favourite in your home. So first job, in a pan, a little bit of olive oil, and on a kind of medium heat, get those lovely sausages in there. And I want these to be golden all the way around. We're going to use leeks, but also curveball apple. Peel these, chunk these up, and then as these sausages are getting nice and brown, we're going to get our apple straight into that, and we want a little bit of colour. Yes. Now, my missus doesn't like onions, so I use leeks a lot. So, put the tip of your knife in and go all the way down the length. Roughly slice it up to be the same size as the apple. So just take the sausages out now, and the leeks all go in. Just give it a little swig of water, just to stop that frying process. A little pinch of salt, and a little pinch of pepper. And now turn that down to like a medium heat, 20 minutes with a lid on. The next job is the mashed potatoes. Over here, I've got 1.2 kilos of Maris Piper potatoes, peeled and boiled and drained. Just 2 tablespoons of flour, salt and pepper. Mash this together. Then we need to divide it into 1/3 for the top and 2/3 for the bottom and the side. This bit I will put over here with my sausage. And then this 2/3 here, I'll put in that tray, and that little kiss of oil, and give it a little rub up around the sides. In we go with the potato, and then just use your hands to just pat it out, almost like a type of pastry. And then as you get to the sides, up we go. Super easy, super rustic. The leeks, once they've had about 20 minutes and they're really tender, we're gonna kind of amp this up now. We're gonna go in with 3 teaspoons of English mustard. Right, that won't be hot, by the way. It will just give it a nice, big, sort of bold flavour. Then we're gonna go in with flour again, just a couple of tablespoons, and that will be the thickening agent for this sauce. A little thyme, just pick that off the stalk. Once the flour is all mixed in, add the milk, about 600 millilitres. And now go in with the sausages. Let's save one of those back. Slice these into 1 centimetre slices. So this will feed 4 people very generously. So let that simmer for 5 minutes, and let's think about the topping. Get a little bit of greaseproof paper, put a bit of oil on here, rub it, and then I'll take this potato and press it down again and again and again, like that. It's about 1 centimetre thick. You want it to be slightly bigger than this tray. Go in with that amazing sweet leek, caramelised apple, and sausage casserole. Look at that. Then simply pick up your greaseproof paper, flap it over the top like that, and then unpeel it. We want to seal it to kind of trap all that lovely goodness. So get yourself a fork and your flour. Just dip it in the flour to stop it sticking to your fork. And that just seals it nicely, just as if it was pastry. Get a knife and kind of cut down like that. Now there is 1 sausage left. So slice this up, and then I'm gonna push this into the most beautiful potato. These will get nice and golden and crispy. Now that will go in the oven for 40 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. And then about 5 minutes before the end, I'll put some of that thyme on top just to crispen up, and it will look the business. Oh, yes. Oh, come on. Chunks of sausage, creamy, leaky sauce. I've got some greens and some peas. I love a bit of mustard as well. Let's just get in it. Come on, what's not to love? Sausage and mash, but not as you know it.